I am making an introduction to all of you. You better get a quack on this book. The Runaway Duck. That's why I got my shades on, because I am a Maltese duck. So you better get a quack on and listen up. One morning, Sebastian Willifrost was playing in the garage. He was with Edward, his favorite toy, around on the floor. Edward was a carved wooden duck with wheels and a long nylon string for pulling. The wheels were mounted on metal axes and rolled very smoothly. One wheel had a flag on which Sebastian had written his name. Suddenly, Sebastian's father, Albert Willifrost, called him in for lunch. "Just a minute," cried Sebastian. Sebastian tied Edward to the bumper of his father's car so that he couldn't roll away. Lunch was sandwich and soup. Sebastian's father ate quickly, wiped his face with a napkin, kissed Sebastian's mother goodbye, and hugged Sebastian. He was going on a long business trip and wouldn't be back for a week. Sebastian forgot that Edward was tied to the bumper of his father's car. By the time Sebastian remembered, Edward was doing 60 miles an hour down Route 95. The roll was enough, and Edward bounced all over. Racing around a sharp mountain turn, Edward's tire swing broke. Edward sailed off underneath the guardrail and into empty space. For 10 seconds, Edward flew like a real duck, but then he fell down into Admiral Valley. Luckily, Edward fell into a stream. When he was carried forward by the force of the water, the fish in the stream thought this was funny, such a strange duck with wooden wheels. Edward rolled and floated on past Steelbird, Baltibird, Carver, and Burgerbeard out into Bernabon Bay in the sea. An eagle-eyed sailor on board the SS Rover spotted Edward and tried to rescue him, but a sudden typhoon drove the ship away. Meanwhile, Sebastian prayed that Edward was safe and that he might return. He wrote several poems in memory of Edward and tried to forget the whole tragedy by playing baseball with the Indian family from across the street. One night in early September, Edward was attacked by a shark. The shark pulled Edward down into the ocean. He bit one of Edward's wheels, discovered that it was wood and some way in disgust. Edward floated up past the clownfish and sea turtle and the pupfish. The wheel floated up alone. After some time, a wave tossed Edward onto an almost deserted isle. "Voila, un canard!" cried Jacques Devin, poetship lacking surviving Frenchman. This is French for whoopee, a duck. Jacques wrote a long poem about Edward, called Song to a Duck. The poem begins. "Oh, what luck to find a duck upon a desert isle. He's missing a wheel and his paint's all peeled, but nevertheless he smiles." Time passed slowly. Sebastian and Jacques continued to write poems. One night, a shooting star brightened Jacques' island, and Sebastian awoke from the middle of a dream. The next day, sailors of a French merchant vessel spotted Jacques and carried him in Everett to France. There was much excitement over the castaways. The president of France met the ship at port. Le Monde, an important French newspaper, published a photo of Edward and copy of Jacques' poem. Sebastian happened to see Edward's picture at a local newsstand while buying some gum. He immediately went home and wrote a letter to the president of France, enclosing an old photo of Edward and a couple of his poems. "Please," he wrote, "send Edward home." Jean was enjoying dinner when the French president showed him the letter, the photo, and the poems. Jacques tossed his napkin on the table and stood up. "But this is my duck," Jacques cried. "Why, they are not the same. They cannot be." The president's daughter urged him to return the duck. Jacques went for a long walk around the Eiffel Tower. He realized Sebastian's poems were better than his own, and that the wooden duck was probably Sebastian's after all. Meanwhile, the president's daughter checked to see whoever Sebastian's name was on Everett's right front wheel, as Sebastian claimed in his letter. Unfortunately, this wheel was now in Portugal, where a little girl was born on a necklace. When they got back to the palace, Jacques announced, "I will return the duck, but it's eaten by air post." The president's daughter kissed Jacques on the cheek. Sebastian received the packet another 2 weeks later. Jacques and the French president's daughter were going to be married. They invited Sebastian and his family to the wedding. Everything seemed perfect. Jacques had been rescued, Everett had returned, and the Willow Frost family would see a French wedding. Sometimes, though, Sebastian tried to imagine what had happened to Everett's front wheel. And sometimes, far, far away, a little girl in Portugal wondered just who Sebastian Wilfront was. The end. Well, I hope you like this book. It may be as simple as a quack. So give me a thumbs up from France. Au revoir and